Welcome to the highlight show for Group 13 of the Ultimate Pool Champions League. Aaron Davies has made the final and the semi-finals in the first 2 years of this competition. He's joined by Adam Bassoo, former world champion Phil Harrison and new professional Jimmy Carney. Let's get straight into our first match, and it is Aaron Davies taking on Jimmy Carney. Stephen Jameson joins myself, Simon Webb, on commentary.
Aaron Davies continues his natural progression. Pencil him in as a winner of this season's Champions League. Semi-final in year one, final in year two. So only one place left for him to go. And it's 1-0 Jimmy Carney. That is an extraordinary start to this evening's play. If you're unsure what's happened, Aaron Davies has been kicked in off with the cue ball, and the 8-ball's gone in as well. Jimmy Carney can't believe it.
The next two frames were shared. Jimmy has the break, now 2-1 in front.
Jimmy Carney loads up and absolutely flushes that break.
Yeah, cue ball right down the middle of the table. Really winds up for it as well. Look at that cue ball.
Can't hit them much better than that.
It's what you're trying to do. And these have come out okay. One by the 8-ball is your marginal problem. Everything else is okay. Yeah, the one nearest the bottom cushion doesn't go bottom right, I don't think. So you need to get onto the one to the right of it with the angle to be able to get onto it to the bottom left, which he looks like he might have a shade too much angle now. He probably has, so he'll drop it in and leave himself high on that red unless it does pass into the same pocket. Just about straight enough to do that. Again, a little bit of a quick one. Just tried to play that with a little bit of side just to get the cue ball a bit further down the table when it hit the cushion, and it only just reached the cushion. Nearly missed the pot. Good news is he doesn't need to do too much with this one. The bad news is that one by the 8-ball is still a problem.
Well, Jimmy Carney can't believe what he's just done.
I've seen an awful lot of Jimmy Carney over the years, played against him, played with him. And this is as edgy as I've seen him to start a match. He's not settled at all, even though he is 2-1 up here.
Phil Harrison in the house. We'll see him a little bit later on. He's in our next match. He's brought the little ones with him tonight.
Is Aaron thinking loss of turn? Is he thinking combination? If he plays the loss of turn, it can go wrong.
So that shot for those not in the nose, totally legal shot in this rule set. You can pot your opponent's ball as long as you play a legal shot on your own colour set in doing so. So it's just a loss of turn, i.e. almost the same as a miss, essentially. So your opponent comes to the table next. It's a clever shot from Aaron. That red was a problem for him. He gets rid of it. Oh, that was a great effort from Jimmy, that.
Oh, it's a good little nudge for him as well.
Yeah, it's come out okay. Close to making this as well, which is what his intention was.
Yeah, the reason I said that Aaron had to be careful is I thought that pot might be left on. Obviously not. And this is a big shot.
Yeah, isn't it just? How do you like these? Yeah, that was tough.
There's no hiding place when you play that shot either. That was the problem for Aaron. He had no safety or good safety option or nothing that was easier than the pot. So he took the pot on, but it was just a tough one. Means Jimmy gets a second chance at this frame. Might be able to play on the one by the 8-ball straight away. If it goes to the bottom right, it's ideal. Even if it goes to the bottom right, I don't think he can play it and get a good angle on the one at the top of the table to get on the 8-ball. So has to take the one to the top of the table first for me and then come down. And you saw him putting his cue there. He'd love to get just past the straight on it so that the cue ball's not going into the 8-ball. And that's nowhere near where he was trying to play it. He's a little bit lucky to still be on this, to be honest. Oh, that's brilliant. Hit that so well. Considering some of the shots he's played in the match so far, that was brilliant.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Almost a little bit of an anomaly, that shot, in a way. Jimmy's having a little look at the match clock and the shot clock. Doesn't need to worry too much, I'd say. Knocks in the 8-ball. Taught our very own Simon Webb everything he knows about pool.
Yeah, did spend plenty of time with him. A bit of coaching, which he still does an awful lot of, actually. But yeah, learned a lot from Jimmy, have to be said.
Myron absolutely mullers that break. And yet, it is bone dry. That's not ideal as a first shot, though, for Jimmy Carney. Yellow wanted to pop out a little bit more if he's being hypercritical.
Feel like he should use the beeps here. Yes, the clearance wins the match, but
That's a great shot.
other ways to win this match when you're too clear. But he should get out from here now. These are all really nice.
Can't imagine Jimmy's played too much on 15 seconds full stop, though.
Only thing that's slightly tricky on second look here is that one on the break line. Doesn't have a natural home, but it can be his last ball. Doesn't have to move it. But he might have the angle too now. No, he's just off the other way. So take the one into the middle pocket, leave plenty of angle on the one on the cushion to get top side of that yellow into left centre pocket. Needs to pull up, needs to pull up.
Just okay.
Yeah, might have to get quite a bit of side on this, or play a cannon. Could have done with being a little bit shorter or straighter on this, whichever way you look at it.
Oh, has he got away with it? I think he has. Well, he's going to play a great shot to land on the 8-ball. That's the only thing I will say.
He could play the double rather than the cut if he wanted to. No, cue ball's going into the red, but he's going for the cut. Oh, that'll do. Lovely shot.
Yeah, he'll take that all day. Oh, Jimmy Carney off to a flyer. He'll be hoping this will settle some early nerves from the showman. He gets over the line by 4 frames to 1. Bit of a scrappy match, that one.
On to our second match of the night. Adam Bassoo takes on former world champion Phil Harrison. The opening 2 frames were shared, and Phil has the break in frame 3.
Another nice break from Phil. Maybe not quite the explosion of the first one. That's why he's got the slight grimace on his face, because he knows there's work here. In fact, plenty of it. The reds are all a bit awkward. Doesn't... the one by the 8-ball, one that catches my eye, but I still think reds are better than yellows here, but looks like he's going yellows. Yellow on the right-hand side, obvious problem, which he might be able to go into now, but also the one below the 8-ball and the 8-ball itself. He did have a gap through to reds to the bottom right. You could make a case that all the reds actually had pockets, but whether he could connect them or not doesn't matter now. I can only assume that the yellow below the 8-ball, there's more room for it than it really looks for us, because he's more concerned with the yellow on the right. Okay, that works. So he's opening up the pocket for that yellow. That yellow now slides by the 8-ball. He still has the one on the right-hand side to deal with.
One thing I would say about Phil Harrison is he has a very well-earned reputation within the game as one of the finest doublers the game's ever seen. Yeah.
Yeah. And he factored it into his pattern. It really, that was very clever thinking, because the double into the corner, I mean, he could have tried to get up for the double in the middle, but it might not have given him as good a positional side of it, whereas now this is just perfect. A little nudge into the red and it's over. Very, very clever. Very, very good.
Super visit to the table, this. Would say is little ones Lucy and George are watching on, but Lucy wasn't paying too much attention. Missed a great shot. Super, super stuff that from Phil Harrison. That's a great visit to the table.
Yeah, agreed. That was some shot of the Pro Series a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, that's a pretty difficult leave if you're Adam Bassoo.
Could be a long night for Adam if he doesn't get hold of this cue ball off the break. First break, the cue ball went right into the right centre, obviously spun round and came back out. This time it's in the corner, and this time it's cost him cue ball in hand here for Phil Harrison. You can't play against great players if you're potting the cue ball off the break consistently.
Yep.
Something he needs to work out. It's a slightly better split for Phil. It looks a lot better, but he does have the one below the yellow at the bottom end of the table, and then there's one on the right-hand side that the yellow on the cushion can get in the way. So just needs to be precise on a couple of shots here. You saw on both those previous shots that Phil's walked around and looked at the angles he's given himself and not been happy.
It's tough to tell, though, with Phil Harrison, because his unhappy is someone else's perfect position.
Well, that's 3 on the trot, and yes, I agree with you. But he is awkward. Joking aside, I think he's maybe in another double situation here. Yeah. Well, he's having a look to see whether he can play the cut and slide across, and when doing that, he has to then probably play a cannon. If he catches the yellow full ball, he'll leave himself on the red. So a couple of precise positional shots required. Don't think the red slides into the bottom right-hand corner past the yellow, so I think it would have to be a cannon.
So good. Such a good shot. Perfectly executed by Phil Harrison. Beautifully done.
Eight ball.
Well, that'll do it. Phil Harrison wins the first match of his night, 4 frames to 1. Golden break to finish it in style. Tough one to take if you're Adam Bassoo. Maybe a tough one to take if you're Phil Harrison. It's always difficult to say.
Adam will stay out there. This time he'll take on Aaron Davies. The opening couple of frames were shared, and Aaron has the break in frame 3.
God, I really thought he was going off again there. I really thought he was.
He's hitting the break really well, though. I mean, it's right
That's
up
the
the middle of
crazy
the table.
thing.
Yeah. Right up the middle of the table this time, nowhere near the corner. This time not kicked in off.
I was convinced as it tracked back down towards the table that something was going to say hello as it went past the left side. Middle pocket.
Oh, the red next to the 8 ball goes. That makes the finish here.
Yeah, these are, for a player of Aaron's level, training drill, really.
Does he leave the one in the bottom half of the table till last, or does he take it next? He takes it next. It's a sort of break and layout that you just fully expect a player to take every single time, but still got to be done, and he's done it very cleanly indeed. He's close though, isn't he?
He's close.
He's close to major honours with ultimate pool.
Oh, 8 ball.
Oh,
Wow. And it's dry.
Slight grimace, but actually I think he's got away with a dry break here because he's come across that break a little bit. I don't know if he's left anything on here, you know. Does that cue ball get in the way of that yellow? No, I think he has left shots down the table. Not much though. Oh, you can see the yellow at the top. It's okay. Yellows are the choice then.
That 8 ball is hanging on, isn't it?
If it was to fall in now, I mean, look how close it is, it would come back up. It's worth pointing that out.
Yeah, referee would respot it were that to happen.
The question is, those 2 yellows on the right-hand side, does the one furthest away from the cushion go into the corner, or does it only go into the middle? Does it go into the middle with enough pace to be able to bump the other one out? Not sure. I think you'd be pushing it to try and put it into the centre pocket with pace there. It's a very acute angle. So he does have...
Already, by the way, sorry, Simon,
Yeah.
already into the 15-second shot clock portion of the match. This match has flown by.
It has. Catches you out at times. I think Aaron's a revolution short there. I think he's playing on the yellow to the bottom right with wants an angle to be able to cannon out the one on the cushion, and he hasn't got it. So he tries to play the yellow off the red. Had to rush it because of the 15 seconds of shot, and he's missed it. So big moment on Aaron's night. Big moment on Adam Bassoo's night right now, because the counter clearance is wide open.
I always say it's not necessarily the 15-second shot clock that catches you out. Quite often it's the transition between 30 and 15. It's such a big drop-off. Aaron would have loved that shot to have been on 30.
It was one of those that just needed to be worked out. Play for the red in the corner rather than the red off the 8 ball. Probably a little too acute for off the 8 ball. That's the one on the cushion there. We might play on it on that previous shot, just top through a little bit more. He's leaving it quite late. Really surprised at leaving that one to last ball. He's happy with it into the centre off the 8 ball, but you're moving a ball that you're playing on if he goes that way. It's never ideal.
Yeah, it's a big shot all of a sudden. Has to get this right. Judged it really well. Penny Carney for the Cyborg's thoughts. Has a check of the clock. Oh, he's killing that break.
It really is. It's as good as I've seen him hit the break in terms of power and control at the middle of the table. It looks like he's been working hard on his break. The reward this time is a very good opportunity. Looks like he fancies the reds. Could make a case for the yellows. I guess the transition from them down the bottom of the table to the two at the top would have to be quite precise up the left-hand side, and it doesn't look a natural. So reds is going to be the colour set. Nothing wrong with reds, really. Two on the right-hand side together. So you need to get rid of the one over the or nearer the pocket first. Could play the cannon here. Needs to get the cannon, though. Yeah, that's a real problem.
He has a shot. He's on the red at the top left of the table. Oh, it's a double. And he's not made it. Long way off it in the end.
Also, the problem with the double is he took it so early in the visit that there's still plenty of time for Adam Bassoo to make a counter clearance. I mean, when I say plenty of time, there's just about enough time. So he's going to need to get a move on here if he wants to make the buzzer beater clearance.
Yeah, no mistakes from here. This finish, were he to make it, would put Aaron Davies out.
Next shot's the key one, the transition. And this is the reason I think that Aaron didn't go yellows, was this transition to the top left-hand side of the table, well, especially when there's more traffic in reds, was going to be a tricky one. Needs this to go, needs it to travel. Oh, could have done with another couple of rolls.
Yeah, this is smelly.
The red might help him here. If he gets the good contact on the red, it holds on the yellow. Yeah, nice. Just travelled far enough up when he played that one up the table. It was a slightly narrow line.
He uses extension. You've not got loads of time, Adam.
I think he's lost the match clock here. I think he's lost the match clock.
Oh, what a time to do it. He needs to pot it. Oh, just in time. Oh, wow. Just when we thought Adam Bassoo had left it too late, he gets it done. Just.
On to the always key fourth match of the night. Jimmy Carney taking on Phil Harrison. Phil has the break in the opening frame.
It's not slowing up. Phew. I told you, as I said earlier on, he had a couple of breaks in his practice and he was sledging it.
It's not a great split, though. The way he hit this break, the quality, the number of balls flying in, he deserved a better leave than this. Can you access the 8-ball if you go reds? Can you get to the potting angle, or do you need a developing shot? If you can get to the potting angle, I was going to say, if you can get to the potting angle, it makes it an option, but probably couldn't. So he's going yellows, which were not a good layout for me at all. I can only assume he was trying to slide by that yellow on the first shot, and he was playing the cannon onto the yellow and red at the top, yellow and 8-ball at the top. Didn't look quite on, but he's the one out there. This is certainly not what he was after.
Yeah.
I wonder, if he plays the cut on the yellow here, he's going straight into the red. Does the red do the business for him? No, he just plays the gap.
Tried to hold it. Gets the pot wrong. Reds aren't too pretty, mind.
No, they're definitely not now. But they don't need to be to win this frame for Jimmy Carney. Yeah. Pull up now. Can he play the loss of turn and hold the cue ball at the same time to get the snooker? As long as the yellow by the red in the middle of the table doesn't go top left, he should be okay. Yeah, played that really nicely. The reason I say the yellow doesn't go top left, just in case he allowed that cue ball to slide out, but he was able to play it slow enough to guarantee that it wouldn't. And he is in control of this frame now. Good hit, not giving away the foul. Jimmy had a quick look to see whether he could pop the red next to the 8-ball. But he won't want to do that unless the 8-ball has the potting angle available. Past the yellow. So it should just be another safety. Well, he's a little bit fortunate to pop that red in truth, because if it doesn't go in, he's left the yellow to top right with an angle that Phil could do something with it. He was trying to keep the cue ball on the right-hand side cushion. But now that it's gone in, does that make him want to go for it?
I think we get our answer.
Yep. I don't believe he was trying to make that first shot. I think that was come off the cushion, catch it full, and leave the cue ball in a safe area, rather than actually risking potting that off one cushion the way he did. But he's now going to go, and because he's left the red next to the 8-ball, he has a way of dealing with it.
There's a phrase in the football world about sort of managers sat on the sidelines, and people often say it's a good old cliche. On the sidelines there, and he's kicking every ball. Phil Harrison sat in his chair. And he's playing every ball out there, isn't he? He's in pieces.
Fully invested in what's happening. He's going to play the breakout shot now. No guarantees to land nicely on the last red here. No guarantees to land nicely on the last red.
Does it pass bottom yellow? Bottom left, I should say.
It does, but it's not nice. I think he was trying to come across the 8-ball there. So if he catches the 8-ball on the underside, then he's on the red into the right centre, and he's just got the 8-ball a shade thick. Of course, he might have been going the other way and tried to get on it to the bottom left, but not ideal.
Go middle right.
Cue ball's in the same pocket.
Oh, disaster for the showman.
Absolute disaster for him.
Even lined it up as well. That was what he was looking at.
You never want to play on a ball that you're cannoning, which is why he wanted to leave the red out there so that he could play the controlled cannon onto the red in the middle of the table. As it turned out, the cannon he had would have left him perfect on the 8-ball. Easy to say in hindsight, but he has just gifted the frame to Phil Harrison.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that.
No.
Phil Harrison will win enough of his own frames without gifts. In a match like this, races to 4, it's a super tight format. Mistakes get magnified. Phil Harrison goes 1-0 in front.
Phil Harrison won the second frame as well and has the break in frame 3.
Alright, let the challenge begin. Phil smashes these apart. His break's been absolutely flying tonight.
And unlike the first frame of the match, this time he's got a better split to go at. Still not a brilliant split, but a better split. There's only one really awkward ball on the table, and he's got plenty of ammunition around it. That's quite nice as well. That's come out really well. If he can put either or two yellows together in the triangle area, now he can nudge open his only bad ball left and still be under the balls. In the end, he decided to play short position on it, and he just got into it, just that hair more than he wanted. He wanted to be straight in on this yellow. Now he's going down the table. Should still be fine.
It's the 15-second shot clock zone we go. Is he okay? I think so. Squeeze by. Yeah, I think he's fine.
Well, I was just about to go on body language, but you can't really do that with Phil Harrison.
Yeah, you can't. No extension. Phil's got to play. Prime example there of how Phil can get himself a little bit caught in knots.
He's going away from his work here as well, which isn't ideal.
Still simple enough. Couple of shots to round things off, though, for Phil the farmer. Oh, you heard the reaction there. He thought he'd missed that. Just glanced off the near jaw. And chops it in the middle pocket. Jimmy's sawing resumes. Almost gets kicked it off once or twice, but he's made a ball, he's got a chance, and now things have to start happening.
They have to happen quickly off his own break as well. He's 3 behind with 3 minutes 27. This needs to be a 1 minute break clearance if he has any desire to get back and get a draw out of this match. Because they are all there. This has to fly.
Yeah, and a draw would really throw the cat among the pigeons, really. I mean, throw a lion, mane and all, among the pigeons if it were to happen. So many possibilities with a draw here, but Jimmy's got to make it happen first.
Ooh, needed to slide by the yellow. The way he's played that, though, I wonder if he was playing into the yellow on purpose, but he just got it too high. Because if he gets the yellow on the sort of almost full ball and then he's on the red to the top right, well, cue ball could be going into the 8 ball here. I mean, this could end things quickly if he plays that shot. It looks like you're almost certain to pop the 8 ball.
Good shot.
Problem is that it's about 30 seconds wasted. If he'd played the previous shot better,
Yep.
he'd already be 2 more pots further ahead, and these are valuable seconds.
As you mentioned a little bit earlier in the night, I don't think Jimmy's had too much experience, if any, of the 15-second shot clock, really. And it does take a little bit of getting used to. Plenty of players will tell you you can't really get used to it, but there's certainly levels.
Yeah, like Phil Harrison will tell you you can't get used to it. It's not just about the 15 seconds for me, though. It's also about clock management. You know, I've seen other players really take to it. You know, it's worth the risk in this situation to almost risk not making the clearance to make it ultra quick, because you know a two minute break clearance here doesn't help you that much.
Yeah. Not make a ball here. Which before that break felt unlikely, but well, get your skates on, Jimmy.
These are all there as well. These all go. But he has to do it quicker than the previous one. Has to go quicker.
60 seconds left, needs 2 frames, needs to get these out of the way very quickly and get himself on his own break. May just be that he leaves himself a chance at a golden break rather than a chance to realistically run out another frame.
Just got slightly the wrong side of this red.
Quickest ever break and run we've ever seen, just for your memory, was 27 seconds, and it's not going to happen. Does that red sneak by into the middle? That's where he's looking.
So because he left himself a bad angle, he played that one off the red to give himself a better angle on the next ball, but no, that's caused him all sorts of problems. Can he see the red?
He is very, very close to that yellow. Looking for the double, not quite. And that will ice it. Phil Harrison is another winner 2 from 2 for the farmer. Another result in round 3 of fixtures tonight, and he is easing himself through. He looks in good fettle, does Phil.
Jimmy Carney will stay out in the arena. This time he'll take on Adam Bassoo. Both players needing a win to put pressure on Phil Harrison in the final match of the night. And it was Adam that won a prolonged opening frame. Jimmy now has the break, 1-0 behind.
Jimmy Carney gets a ball. Well, very real opportunity that this match ends in a draw, and if that's the case, a reminder that Phil Harrison's work would be done. These two are currently looking to secure something of a golden ticket. Phil Harrison was to lose against Aaron Davies. And perhaps they get the chaos of the 6-red shootout as some sort of prize.
That was a beautiful shot from Jimmy.
Yeah, really nice.
I think forced him to go in reds. I'm not sure he had a yellow on. Not saying he wouldn't have gone reds anyway, but very nice early positional shot. Still needs a couple of good ones, but every red sort of is solvable here. It does look a little bit congested around the 8 ball, but it's not. It's the one below the yellow on the right-hand side that's more of a concern, and the one to the right of it.
It's not been the greatest of nights for Jimmy Carney. You feel like he's had a lot of table time without ever really sort of settling and feeling like he's in control and confident. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's, to me, it gives me a sense that he's still trying to find his feet with the match clock, with the shot clock, with the rules, simply because, okay, he was a little bit edgy in the first match. That can happen. We've seen it happen to a lot of players. But for me, more than that, he's chased a couple of really bad finishes. Once against Adam in the previous frame, you know, took on a finish that probably wasn't quite on, and patience maybe would have been better for him. And that frame against Phil Harrison, Phil asked a question of him, and he tried to take it on and didn't really get that far in it.
Sometimes feel like can be a bit of a symptom where a player doesn't feel 100% at ease and comfortable, so they feel like they have to go at everything.
Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you think that's the best way for you to win the match, is to try and take out a finish like that. But 2 low percentage finishes has hurt him in his last 2 matches, and obviously he won his first match. But Jimmy will be learning all the time, all the experiences he gets with Ultimate Pool. He said when I interviewed him earlier that first season coming in as a wild card he's almost giving himself a bit of a free pass. He's trying to just learn and build on the year, see where he is at the end of the year, and go from there.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think Adam Bassoo had a bit of a similar experience really when he came up from the Challenger Series. I don't think he came into the Pro Series with that outlook, but I think now he'll look back at it almost with that view. That, you know, first year's a learning year, learnt a lot, took some knocks, but we're still here, we're still fighting, and we're improving.
Yeah, I think a few of the players that come up from the Challenger Series have sort of given themselves that freedom. Big shot in the match.
Yeah, huge shot this for Adam Bassoo.
It was a little bit tight.
15 second shot.
It really was. It wasn't just the pot as well, of course. Getting good position on the 8 ball wasn't going to be guaranteed.
Well, he came down the table on the left-hand side, didn't he? Which would have been an extraordinary shot if he'd have pulled that off.
I think the reason being, because I do think he was trying to play down the left-hand side, was simply that he didn't have to get as far down the table for the 8 ball. And there was a bigger window than it actually looked onto it, into right centre. Bottom right corner. Either way, this might be a very good result for Phil Harrison here.
Yeah.
A 1-1 with 3 minutes left on the clock would be... He'll be looking for one messy layout, and his work's done.
Yeah. Still a long way to go, though. For as long as the first frame of this match felt, 11 minutes. As we've seen so many times before with Ultimate Pool, 3.5 minutes is a very, very long time in this game. A lot can happen. .330 to play. And we are even.
And of course, always expect plenty from Simon Fitzsimmons and Craig Waddingham. Craig in particular has had some great performances over the last 12 months or so with Ultimate Pool.
Oh, Adam's caught that break nicely. Has he got a nice finish though?
It's a good chance, this. Take the yellows. The yellows nearest the bottom right-hand corner actually work and can connect.
That's a nice little nudge.
I wonder if he can pot this and drop in the gap, or he may have a little bit too much angle, in which case he's probably going to end up playing a cannon. And I think it has to be the latter. I think he has too much angle here. Not the best of cannons.
Does he have a shot?
Well, the yellow goes left centre. Cue ball may just be grazing the red, but it's going to be going up the table. But at least the yellow that was most blocked off is open. Oh, he's decided not to take it on. He's going to wait a visit.
Oh, if you're Phil Harrison, you're loving this.
You are. You are indeed.
Extension call.
2:10 to go.
Yeah, top of the table, because the only red that Jimmy can see is one he doesn't really want to play safe off, and there's no really good safe area or big area. There is areas he can be safe, but the tiny margin of error, and I don't think that's in it.
No.
He's left options down the table. There was very little room there to get that one right. So Adam fully rewarded for playing safe when he had an opportunity to keep digging in the previous visit. He'll be disappointed that he's not on the yellow to bottom right here, though.
There he is now. That's a lovely shot.
Yeah, played very well. Could easily have overrun that one.
Well, just a shade over a minute to play. Oh, now Adam Bassoo's got some match clock awareness. All right. 49 seconds to play. Yeah, ramped up too high.
And the only ball that didn't get in motion was the one ball he wanted to get in motion, which was the 8 ball. And of course the cue ball flies in, and that will be the match, you feel.
Yeah,
Unless
absolutely.
Adam does something very crazy. Like try and run through a finish. You don't need to be playing this quick, Adam. Just take your time, call your extension, let the clock run out. 2 more pots and you're done. Yeah, that will be that.
Shake hands. Adam Bassoo gets the win over Jimmy Carney, and he's done enough to ensure that he will have an opportunity should Phil Harrison slip up.
On to our final match of the night. Simple scenario. If Phil Harrison wins or draws, he goes through. If he loses, then it will be a 6-red shootout against Adam Bassoo. Aaron Davies has the break in the opening frame.
The reason why that is because if Aaron Davies wins, then Adam Bassoo is getting his running shoes on, and we're going 6-red shootout. Him versus Phil Harrison. All Phil has to do is shut out the noise and get himself a result. It can be a draw. That would be enough for him. 2 wins and a draw would put him top of the table all by himself, and he would be through to the next stage of the Ultimate Pool Champions League.
Aaron's break continues to let him down today.
The quality, it's so well, though.
The quality of the break and the outcome of the break do not match up.
Yellow ball.
Chance for Phil then. I think the one on the break line passes the red to the top left. So there's one just below the break line, slightly more awkward to get on. It does have pockets. Be interesting just to see how he connects these three at the bottom, or in the bottom half, to the three at the top.
Phil's actually been really solid tonight. We've seen the usual array of head shakes and head scratches and pouting and all the rest of it that we're used to seeing from Phil Harrison, but actually when you just, well, actually, if he has one now, it's sort of justified. I'll give you that one, Phil. It's a bad shot. But other than that, you know, a couple of the half moments, he's been really, really solid tonight.
Yeah, that's probably the worst shot he's played all night long.
Yeah, easily. That is a bad one from Phil.
And he can actually still recover here. He can still pot the one down the table, and he can still get on the one on the break line. Okay, it's a much tougher shot, and he may have to really, really hammer this one. I'm not sure how much angle he has got. Oh, he's got enough, so make the pot. He should be good.
Shots.
And that's not the worst angle. If he's going full into the red, he's going to be on the red nearest the top right-hand corner, and he is going to just be opening up the other yellow. He's just got to be precise with the knowledge of where he's catching the red to sort of determine how much pace he plays this shot with. Very nice indeed.
Yeah, that's such a little Phil Harrison shot, that, isn't it?
And that's what I mean. I mean, if you play that with more pace and you send that yellow onto the cushion, you're not getting into a bad place. So it's just really understanding, and it sounds so simple and it looks so simple, but it's just being that precise and knowing where you're hitting it was everything there.
Lucy is all in on Phil now. Candy Crush back on charge, I'd imagine. Lovely stuff from Phil. If he can put together that consistency, such a good player.
All eyes on
made the final in the first weekend of the Pro Series this season in January, and went well again in Blackpool a couple of weeks ago. Quarter-final, I think, exit to Shane Thompson, and you know, it just feels like Phil's now back at the level where he's operating consistently on a really good basis, but it's just getting to that level where we know where Phil Harrison can go, where he's, you know, the best player in the world. Can get back to that level.
Yeah, certainly been a lot better this year than he was the previous couple. I know that sounds strange because he's won the Masters, but starting to look like Phil Harrison. Lovely pot there to start this visit off. And again, these all go. It's just about connecting them, and it's sort of almost working your way down the table in a line here. Might see a shake of the head, yeah, slight grimace because he's come past the straight on the red, which is slightly awkward. He wanted to be straight so he could just top through and have a choice then of red at the bottom or red in the centre, whichever way around he sees. So he's rerouting, but still not really a problem here. Rushed that one a little bit because of the clock. He couldn't make his mind up he had a half thought about taking the red to the left centre, pulling back to be on the shot he's just played. The reason he probably didn't was just in case he didn't come back far enough, then you've got real problems and it's very difficult to get on the last red. But catching the yellow and finishing on the cushion just makes this a little bit more awkward. Have to dig this one.
He's not the biggest Phil Harrison as well, so he's really got to ramp this up. Oh, cued that well. Whoa. Another super finish from Phil Harrison, and Team Bassoo is looking a bit depleted. Team Harrison is very much having a nice time, though.
Aaron won the next to get himself on the board, but Phil responded with a break clearance to go 2 clear once again. Aaron's now breaking off 3-1 behind.
It would have been really funny if he'd have made a golden break there.
Well, he's already got the 8-ball in off the break tonight.
Oh, yeah, true.
So he's going to need to do this in about a minute and a half, leave enough time, leave 2 minutes, 1:45, maybe 1:30 for a potential reverse clearance for the draw.
Has he gone wrong? I think he's still okay.
Well, that's the problem here for Adam Bassoo, is you need Aaron to win this match, not draw it. Can he get past the red? Or does he have to play a little cannon? Yeah, he can get past the red nicely.
That's not ideal. Hits the gap, good shot. Aaron Davies keeping Phil Harrison honest. Back within 1. Realistically, probably too much time chewed up. Oh, it's just never in doubt the way he's breaking at the moment.
It's been very impressive, hasn't it?
He's breaking so well.
And the split's good. Split's good here. He's got a route into these to these reds, and he can pick these apart. Doesn't need to worry too much about the match clock and just slowly work his way through it. And it won't matter if he gets there or not.
Yeah, and that'll be all she wrote. Phil Harrison has been the best player tonight. He's been the more clinical. He's had the more opportunities. And he's shown little signs, little flickers of the top quality Phil Harrison that we all know and love.
Phil's made a ball off 8 of his 9 breaks tonight.
Oh, that's some percentage.
That includes a golden break as well. Now he's trying to run through this. He really wants to get to 4.
Quickest we've ever seen Phil play.
And that will mean he will get to 4 as well. Lovely positional shot.
Yeah.
Oh, I say that, I thought he could just rest into the 8-ball there. Must have been just past the straight. Still wants to get there.
Kills the cue ball, loads of right-hand spin off the top rail. That's lovely.
That really was lovely to watch.
Phil Harrison is through to the next stage of the Ultimate Pool Champions League. 3 wins from 3 for the farmer.
Top performance from the former world champion Phil Harrison as he moves on to the second stage of the competition. This whole night is available to watch on Ultimate Pool TV. Or if you're looking forward to next week, then this is the lineup we have for you. Peter Mullaney, Simon Fitzsimmons, Craig Waddingham and Oli Bale will do battle in Group 14 of the Ultimate Pool Champions League.